Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in mid-April 2020. Hello, Sagittarius. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, Sag, here we are. Welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, if you are a first-time viewer, you're welcome as well. For those who are returning, you might be noticing something a little bit different. There are no cards here on the table. I've changed things up a little bit with the mid-monthlies. I've asked my guides to help me become a better reader, become more intuitive, and really, just jazz things up a bit. Sometimes you got to change the energy around, So instead of doing a pre-laid spread, we will be reading things sort of off the cuff. Similar to how I would do a personal. For those who may have purchased from me before, you know what that looks like. But for those who are unfamiliar, that's kind of what this is going to mimic. It's not meant to be a personal. It's still very much a general. There's hundreds or potentially thousands of you who might be watching this video. So ultimately, it cannot be tailored specifically towards an individual, correct? But again, the style in which I'm going to read is more how I read my personal readings when I'm working with a client one-on-one, okay? Anything else? Oh yes, my friends, if you notice at the top, I'm going to re-announce it here. I am on Instagram, so if you want to follow me, that is EmpathicFire Tarot. There'll be a nice little indicator right here so you can see that name once again, but that link is down in the description box. Let's go ahead and just do the spiel, and then we'll get into your reading, okay? So I have meditated off camera. I cut it on as soon as I was ready, so we're going to get into your spread in a moment. But if you want to skip over all the shuffling and all this talking that I'm going to continue to do until that point, the timestamp is in the description box. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. I have to clarify this because a few people have contacted me recently. If you want a personal, please understand that you must pay for a personal. At no point have I indicated that I would do a reading for free. I might eventually do that here on my channel, might do some giveaways, but ultimately if you're looking for me to work with you at this time one-on-one, it is a paid affair. And I don't know why, but I've had a couple people reach out to me and they're like, I want a reading. And I said, sure, I'll help you. What's up? I want a reading. Okay, but what kind of reading and where's the money? And there's like either no response or there's like a reluctance to give money. And I'm just like, so you don't want to work with me. So just to clarify for those who are confused, if you want a personal reading, you must pay for it, okay? I don't know why that needs to be clarified, but I've had a couple people, like I said, approach me and ask, and I'm like, no ma'am, no sir. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on for you, Sagittarius. Again, all that information is down in the description box. If you have any questions, before you place an order with me, just feel free to email me and I'll answer your question as soon as I can, okay? So, mid-month messages for Sagittarius. One of those mid-month messages. Please show me. Ooh, nice. Just 2 bridges to get back into the flow. Let's get into it. Messages for Sagittarius in mid-April. Show me. Messages most pertinent to them at this time that serve their highest good. What are the messages, please? Okay, that's 1. Messages for Sagittarius, please show me. We'll take it. 2, just 2 or 3? 2 or 3, please. 2. They want to start with 2. Thank you. First card out was the Princess of Pentacles. She fell out when I was in your meditation, and the 8 of Wands. Okay, so need to make moves here, Sagittarius. There's a need to make moves. Now, some of you, that's because you're stir crazy. A lot of us are in that phase, or we've been, a lot of you, not just Sagittarius, a lot of people in general have been that way after 2 weeks of being in quarantine. We're in week 6 for me personally. Some people, this is the 2-month marker. Yeah, I get it. Some of you need to make moves, like you're really feeling anxious and antsy to get out in the world. But there's, a drawback to that, or not a drawback. There's a withheld energy. There's like this, I want to do things, but the circumstances at hand are kind of pulling you away from that. So that's just the initial feel of this, but more to the point of what I think is actually going on. I feel as though there has to be some type of communication, or maybe it doesn't have to be. There might be a desire. Thank you. There's like a slow building desire for some of you to speak, to communicate, to get into contact with, or to make moves towards a certain person or an opportunity. Princess of Pentacles, aka the Page of Pentacles. Pages have been coming out like left and right. So that's interesting. I think like that speaks to the renewal energy of what's going on, because we've all been put on pause, right? Most of us in the globe have been put on some type of timeout, okay? And now that, it's looking like maybe restrictions are going to start to lift, we're all going to have to go back out into the real world and back into our routines. And to go back to something, to be renewed in some type of way, is to be in the Page or the Princess energy. So that's kind of what I'm sensing here for you as well. Even though I didn't really articulate it for the other readings, now I'm catching the pattern. The pattern is we all going to be pages and princesses in a minute. But more to your point, or more to the point of your reading, Sagittarius, Princess of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. You might be dealing with an Earth sign, but you don't have to be. I think this is some of you. Maybe you're being cautious, or maybe you're dealing with someone who's cautious or a little bit slow to rise, slow to reciprocate, slow to open up, something like that. This is a very slow energy. It's the slowest of all the pages, right? Pentacles, in terms of the elements and the qualities here in tarot, it is the slowest. It's slowest to start, slowest to develop, slowest to bring fruit or bear fruit. But when it does, whether it be in the form of a person or an investment or, just a bright idea that you've created on your own, whatever the Pentacles means to you, or how it resonates in your story, it will eventually bear fruit. But the waiting is the hardest part, right? So, and she looks a little pregnant. So some of you might be pregnant or dealing with pregnancy or dealing with someone who is pregnant. And again, pages are young energy, so it can indicate children or childhood, or, anything to do with someone who is relying on another. Yeah, that's how they want me to say it, relying on another, okay? So I feel this is going to be sort of a 50-50 split, and that kind of makes sense in a general. Some of you, this is you. Some of you, this is who you're dealing with. Ultimately, though, things are developing slowly, and that kind of grates on your nerves a little bit, Sagittarius, because, your tendency, being a fire sign, is to do things and do them quickly and do them effectively. And the Pentacles does things effectively, but does them slowly. So it's kind of like you're getting half of what you want out of a situation. You're getting half of what you want out of a relationship. You're getting half of what you want out of your own pace in life or your own opportunities in life. Because this Eight of Wands paired with the Page of Pentacles or the Princess of Pentacles is very much, look at the card, look at the title, swiftness, an interest in moving as quickly as possible, an interest in getting things done and getting them done yesterday, right? Eight of Wands can talk about communication in tarot, so some of you, this is a delay in communication, or a complete shutdown, or a complete stalemate in communication. For some of you, this is a stalemate in communication. And either you want things to remain slowly or you want things to open up. Like, you're on either side of that split, that divide. Ultimately, again, I feel like there's a stalemate between you and another person, or you in a situation, you in a certain aspect related to yourself, where part of you says things should go at a slower pace, things should develop slowly over time. But then I think like there's this natural jolt, or there's this natural push from you or from the other person to move things along, to open up lines of communication, to talk very blatantly or very, very clearly about what is needed in the situation. This is in different facets of your life, Sagittarius. Again, it's a general. So some of you, this is business, this is family, this is friendships, this is dating, this is your personal development. It's going all over the place. And this is actually a bit of a mild conflict, actually, because the Eight of Wands can be a little insistent, right? Whether it's a person or whether it's just an energy within you, or, it could be also like what someone is demanding of you, or what a situation demands of you. Like if you are Right. Oh, okay. There we go. Like I was waiting for them to give me like a real world example because like that's kind of what I think I'm pretty good at as a reader is giving like analogies. So what it feels like is yes, just as an example, this might apply to a few of you because you're human beings and you live in this world. There is possibly this push for you to get things done. Like let's say you were you're working on the front lines, right? Let's say you are a nurse or a doctor, right? In the middle of this pandemic. And part of you wants to get things done quickly. You want to help your patients. You want to get tests administered and you want to get people out of your emergency room, put into rooms so that they can be put on the mend. Like the situation is asking for swiftness, right? A couple weeks ago, and even still, in certain hotspots in the world, right? But the development, what is possible in the situation, is not as quick. In some cases, you might have patients who are recovering slowly, getting supplies to your hospital if you're in a rural area or an underserved area. Getting PPE in is very difficult, but you need it now. And again, this creates a conflict. This is a situation of conflict. That's just an example. Like that's kind of, I was looking for some way to like visualize what I was feeling. The goal is to get better. The patient wants that. The doctor wants that. The family wants that. As a people, I think most of us collectively want COVID-19 to get the fuck out of here. Okay. Whether we're directly affected or indirectly affected, we all want it to go. Right. But it's not. It's dragging its heels. It's dragging on and on and on and on. Right. This is, like I said, 6 weeks for me personally, maybe 2 weeks for you, maybe 5 weeks for somebody else, whatever. So the desire to get back to business, Eight of Wands, or to be able to be open and expressive and go out and hang out at the bar and meet up with people for dinner and do all those things that we were all so accustomed to doing is not possible. There's something, I said this before, that is withdrawing or pulling us back like a dog on a leash. You can't, like, not so fast, Fido. It's something like that. Interesting. And, that's just an example. I had to use the coronavirus as an example because I'm not able to tap into how this applies to you guys in a more personal way. I mean, that still could be very personal. Again, you could be directly affected, but I'm not able to tell, again, if this is your work, if this is your love life, if this is something in your family, that is not coming through. But that analogy with the pandemic is really what I'm able to see most clearly for you, Sagittarius. Okay. So I apologize if that's, something you didn't want to talk about, but hey, what can I do? Sometimes they give me different storylines, and we'll probably get something different as we continue. But I'm curious what else we have for you. So let's see what else is going here. Okay. Let me put this down because they showed me something. So we have two figures, right, on these cards. And you see the Eight of Wands figure is a lot more proactive, a lot more active, a lot more feisty, right? Out there, what is it? They're like shooting rainbows from their hands, and the wands are following suit, right? The wands are shooting across the sky. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, come now. Don't be like this. There's just a lot more action. There you go. A lot more action in this card. Wands are flying in the sky like they're, in a Harry Potter movie or something like that. And then you've got the Page or the Princess of Pentacles where the action is a lot slower, or it's a lot more demure or toned down. It's not as rampant. She's holding that pentacle. These flowers are just, I perceive those flowers as just like falling to her feet. So it's like one moves fast, one moves slowly. So if this is two different people, you and a friend, you and your a family member, you and a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever, there's like a different attitude or a different approach. You both are not in the same lane traveling down the highway, So you know what side you're on better than I do. What else do we have? What are the other messages for Sagittarius? Please show me. Oh no, why are you doing that with your focus? You're terrible. Oh, this deck. I don't even know when that happened. My apologies. Hold on. I need you to work with me here. Boom. There you go. Jeez. What are the messages do we have for Sagittarius in mid-April? Please show me. Because I think it's pretty clear. I don't think I need to clarify anything with that. One is fast, one is slow. But what are the other messages for Sagittarius? Please show me. Other messages for there we go. Other messages for Sagittarius. Okay. 4 of Cups. That's been coming up as well. And the 6 of Cups. Okay. So for some of you, here we go. A little clarification. This is about your love life. This is about a particular romantic or effusive relationship, a very intimate relationship with the 6 of Cups. And intimacy is more than sex. Intimacy is more than what you have with someone that you're boning, okay? You can have an intimate relationship with your family members, all right? So take it with a grain of salt. But for some of you, this is dealing with a significant relationship that means a lot to you. You know, beyond the word pleasure that is at the top of this card, I get the sense that there's joy and playfulness in a connection that you have that maybe is lost. The connection is lost, the playfulness is lost, and the memory remains. Interesting. The memory remains. Like you can recall being around this person and, you know, having a good time, sharing jokes, sharing laughs. You know, I mean, this is kind of mimicking like a beach scene. So, you know, some of you are like, man, spring break 2020 was cool until Corona hit, you know. But there's just this tenderness that I feel that you're looking back on a situation with, or the other person is. It can go the other way, right? And there's fondness there, but there's a distance from it. It's, you know, again, it could just be down to social distancing. You know, maybe you did meet someone over spring break or, you know, just before coronavirus became our reality, right? And maybe you had a very significant relationship with someone, business, lovers, it doesn't matter the type. And one of you is like, I want to go back to that. And the other one is like, well, you know, it could be that. It could be under this quarantine, someone is dealing a little bit better with it. They're a lot more calm. They're a lot more balanced, or how can I say it? They're just coping a little bit better. And you could see someone else is kind of like, you know, clawing up the walls, like, let me out of here, let me out. And not necessarily so that I can get back to this person, but just like, let me out of this stale and stagnant energy, this stale and stagnant time in our lives. I want to get back to business as normal. And some of you, it is in relation to going back to a particular connection. But I think more to the point, both people realize that we had something special. I loved working with you. I loved spending time with you. I loved hanging out with you. Da 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 da. And that could be relative to recent past or even years ago. Okay, so that's also at play here. Some of you, this is more of a recent development. Again, like I'm getting somebody who like met someone on a beach. Like you were just out there sunbathing and here comes this stud or here comes this really attractive lady. And it's just like, boom, fireworks as soon as you meet. Because that's the other thing with the 6 of Cups. And I'm going to say this, and you guys know, I don't normally say this, but some of you view this person as a soulmate. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because Jay is not somebody who believes soulmates are cookie cutters and, you know, any made of sunshine and rainbows and everything is cutesy wootsy ootsy cootsy. You know, it's not like that. Soulmates are very difficult, and you end up learning a lot of big lessons when you deal with soulmates, in my estimation. But some of you are viewing it in a hallmarky kind of way, like, oh my God, this person is my soulmate. They're the best thing ever. That might be true, but if you are saying that, you have to understand that soulmates are not always easy to deal with as individuals, or the energy and the context of you guys being in a dynamic together is not always easy. Please take that if you want it. If you don't want that, you don't have to. But so some of you met someone recently or whenever, and it's tender memories. And then you have this reflective energy right next to it, Four of Cups. Not the same person on the Six of Cups. Neither one. I don't. No, she's not on the Six of Cups. This particular image or this particular person. But I get this sense that someone views it as like an opportunity lost, a dream deferred. Really, that's a very famous poem by Langston Hughes. I'm not sure that it would apply. I haven't read that thing in forever, but like it's that energy of what could have been is lost, and someone is just like reflecting on that, feeling like there's no, and that could be it. I don't know who this is for, because there is a chance that you had a very strong connection with someone, Sagittarius, whether it was recently, whether it was years ago, whether you know this person still, or whether they've disappeared out of your life. And but there, the energy that I get is like it was all a dream. Was it a fantasy? Did I make it up in my head? Two huge moons on these cards, both being cups. So emotionally speaking, someone is possibly thinking, what did I make it all up? Did they feel the same for me as I felt for them? Were they just as excited to start in on this project, and then all of a sudden Corona hit and now we lost touch with each other? We never exchanged business information, but oh my God, that day we were sitting in the hotel bar after the convention and we were swapping ideas for new IP and blah, 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 blah. And then you never swap that contact information and you can't find this person on social media. It's like chasing a ghost. This is what this feels like, chasing a ghost. Ah, that might be at play. Because, a lot of times I'm just speaking and then all of a sudden I catch the words that I just said. And they're like, you see what you said? Chasing a ghost. Some of you may have been ghosted by this person, or you ghosted them, or whatever it is. And there's someone wondering, what was that? So it's like, and then look, the catty cornering here. You've got this slow, or excuse me, not slow. You've got this reflective, demure, quiet, sullen energy with the Four of Cups, catty-cornered to the Princess of Pentacles. And then you have this very vivacious, lively, excitable energy in the Six of Cups, paired again in a diagonal with the Eight of Wands. And I've kind of shaped them in like this strange, like it doesn't look that way on camera, but where I'm sitting, this is kind of like in a diamond shape. So it's kind of more like this is what I'm seeing when it's laid out, like the way I had it. But at the angle that it was on the camera, it's not exactly looking that way, but that's what it is in my mind. Diamond. Maybe is there a diamond? Diamond are one of the states called the Diamond State? I don't think so. But something about a diamond might be significant for a few of you. I want to clarify something. I want to clarify the Six of Cups. What's the Six of Cups about? Why is the Six of Cups here for Sagittarius? Please show us more on the Six of Cups. What's the Six of Cups? Why is the Six of Cups here for Sagittarius? Show us some more information on that, please. Wow. Okay, listen. Hey now. Hey, listen. Okay? Ten of Swords and the Two of Cups. And I wasn't really looking. The Two of Cups may have hit first, so I don't know. But Ten of Swords and the Two of Cups. Listen, if you had what you believe to be a soulmate situation, someone here, you or them or the pair of you, view that situation as done and dusted. Ten of Swords with the Two of Cups. Done and dusted, despite how significant it is, despite how amazing it was to talk to that person, to hang out with them, to, sleep with them, to break bread with them, whatever quality of relationship you had, it really is neither here nor there. But the intensity, whoa, that makes sense. Okay. So possibly for some of you, Sagittarius, the intensity is what killed the situation, because that Ten of Swords is like final. It feels very, someone is perceiving it that way at least. Or it is very much true that it's over. It depends. But it could be that the intensity of that connection was too much for someone to bear, so they had to leave. They had to, like I said, get ghost. Okay? Or because the timing wasn't right, or something in the situation just wasn't there yet, you know, divine intervention, you might call it, or serendipity, you might call it, coincidence, you might call it, whatever. Here comes coronavirus, here comes COVID-19 sweeping the globe, and all of a sudden you've lost touch with this person, or you can't see them, you can't visit them, you can't be in physical contact with this person. And that has put a strain on the connection, because some of you are in contact with this person, some of you, but it kills you, like the Ten of Swords with all those swords in this person's back. It's killing you to be away from this person, but there's some genius in it. There's some divine genius in it that I don't know, but I feel it. It's like it's meant to be this way. So whether you've lost contact completely and you guys don't, see each other, you don't speak, you don't know where they live, you don't know you don't know anything. Some of you. Others of you speak, but it's not on the level that you want, because someone wants more, and someone is like pushing the limits, not pushing the limits, but desiring. Someone is desiring more in a more driven way, in a more expressive way, in a more, moving towards active way. Someone else is desiring as well, but it's quiet. It's slow. It's reflective. It's not as active. It's not in a lusty type way. When you desire something and you have strong feeling for it, strong passion for it, you seek after it, right? Someone is more actively seeking, and the other person is kind of like hands off, like step away. I feel it's a mutual thing, whether you were in contact with this person or not, but ultimately it's at a certain end with that Ten of Swords. It's at a particular end. Is it a soulmate situation? Is it a divine connection? Probably. But again, when you come to get a reading from me and you want to hear soulmate jazz, I'm going to tell you, sure. But like, kind of like it came out here. You have the Six of Cups and the Two of Cups. For those who are familiar with tarot, that's very significant. However, look what came with it. Pain, disappointment, ruin, as the card says, ruin for some of you, okay? Some type of loss, some type of hurt, some type of disappointment is here. Desertion is here as well, right? Does that take away from how impactful that person is to you or your connection is? Nope. Very impactful, very significant, but damn, does it hurt. Or it developed or is developing in a way that you didn't expect. If you are madly in love with someone, just as an example, Sagittarius, if you or them or both of you are madly in love with each other, but you're separated because of, social distancing, if you literally legit met over spring break and they live in Ohio and you live in California, I mean, now's not the time to be making house calls, right? Now's not the time to be making romantic gestures, traveling across the country to meet up with your spring fling, who you think is a soulmate. And I'm not trying to take that away from you. It could be. But you go, you visit this person, you're risking possibly contracting a very serious illness. Not just from them and being in close quarters with them. It's the fact that you'd have to go to the airport, get on a plane. Are they flying? Are there flights? I don't even know. I think there are. You know what I mean? Like, you're out there making yourself more susceptible to an illness for the sake of this love. There's a risk. Does that make sense? So there's something here about having to stay apart or having lost contact, whichever way it goes for you, that is really painful for you or them or both of you to experience. One person is like, I hate this. And they're like, really? Like, I think I said this in the live for Aries, and that was more because it's Aries season, but I feel like somebody's like putting on their boxing gloves or putting on their, sparring gloves and trying to box a virus trying to beat this thing out of their life. And it's just like, there's nothing to do but wait. There's nothing to do but sit and reflect back on these times. That is also a trouble spot, the reflection, because you've got 3 depictions of the moon in these cups cards. Huge emotional weight for one or both of you, and that can be really overwhelming. Like I said, I think possibly the intensity of the connection was too much for one of you to bear. In some of your cases, not all. Like somebody was just like, I can't believe that. And that can creep a person out. I understand. Like one of you may have like, I don't think it was like this, but you see it all the time where you hear those stories where someone, after 2 days, I love you. What? Excuse me? Oh no, I didn't say anything. No. Please rewind that back. What did you say? I think I love you. We just met. And that can really scare someone off. Whether they emotionally believe that or not, whether they emotionally feel that or not. See? Swords, you can get in your own head. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that that person is making a fool of themselves or they're ruining the situation. No. That's legit a thing that people go through. Some people don't know how to handle their emotions and their attraction for another person if it's that intense. They run for the hills. I personally would not be that person, but I understand that they exist. Anywho, and I wouldn't be the person after 2 days saying I love you either. I have an Aquarius moon. I'm not, no. Anyway, let's see if what are the final messages for Sagittarius in this reading, and then we'll get an oracle card, and then we'll wrap up, okay? Any final messages for Sagittarius for mid-April? Final messages for Sagittarius in mid-April, please show me. Oy, Dios mío. Final messages for Sagittarius. Ooh, I can't wait to eat my dinner. I'm so hungry. Final messages for Sagittarius. The Hermit. Listen, friends, just take a break. Take a time out. Chill out. If you are the one who's chomping at the bit, Sagittarius, calm down. Hermit, major arcana for Virgo. Some of you could be dealing with a Virgo, but you don't have to be. I think in general, this is like what's been going on for the collective. I feel the Hermit came out a good bit for the April readings, or even the March readings maybe. But I feel this energy is out here for everybody. The entire world, the entire collective of human consciousness is very much in this Hermit phase of self-reflection, going to the deep, darkest places of yourself, figuring out what your wounding is, and working on it if you're conscious enough to work on it. If you're not conscious or aware enough to work on it, it's kind of like torturous for the sake of torture, right? It doesn't feel productive. It feels like a punishment. For those of us who are more conscious and aware, it's like, okay, in this context, I've met someone or I've connected with someone and I feel this amazing spark with them. I've never had conversations like this. I've never met someone on my intellect like this. I've never met someone with my appetite for, thrill seeking. This could just have been a friend. This could have been someone who's like interested in world travel and you've always wanted to like start like a live vlog, but you wanted to do it like in partnership with someone, whatever your goal is, right? And you're sitting and you're thinking, wow, it was so amazing, but I ran away or they ran away. And that might have triggered something in you. And, that's like, a main course for the Hermit energy. Triggers, wounding. The Hermit eats that stuff up. The Hermit says, oh my God, I love triggers. Okay. And it's not that it's not a masochistic type of enjoyment. It's because it's meant to, it drives us to grow. It drives us to expand, right? The Hermit is like, listen, this is going to suck. This is going to be painful. You're not going to enjoy the bulk of what you're going to face when you travel this road towards, figuring out the root of your triggers, figuring out the root of your wounding, figuring out why you or they or whoever is shitting on a good thing, or why you had a good thing, but now it's completely lost to you. And you're sitting there bewildered, or you're sitting there and you're feeling frustrated that you can't move on to the next thing. Whatever this is, the Hermit is challenging you and them and everybody in the damn world to be like, hey, those triggers over there, don't you think we should look at that? Now, again, if you're unconscious or you're unaware, that sounds like bullshit to you and you're not interested. You, them, or whoever else. If you're aware, if you're conscious, if you're about that life, you're like, all right, this is it. This is the challenge. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. This Hermit carries an hourglass. So the time is now. And like the sands of time, it will move slowly. You ever look at a damn hourglass? Like a big one? That shit is so slow. But you're perceiving the same thing as if you had watched a clock, right? But for some reason, at least for me, when I look at an hourglass and I watch the sand pour down, I'm like, oh my God, this is so slow. But ultimately, it's the same passage of time as if you were watching the hands of a clock. But anyway, so the time is now to do this work. And the slowness that I perceive the hourglass to represent is what this is going to feel like. For me, I've been in the house for 6 weeks. I've been on a spiritual journey for the better part of 2020 anyway. So I know what this is about. I'm not a Sagittarius, but I'm just saying, if you are coming into this sort of unknown to what this world is, or you don't understand the relationship that you've had or you've created with someone, or that you were introduced to, you're probably going to be caught very off guard and be very turned off by all of this, or them, or it's them, or it's the both of you. Let's get an oracle card for Sagittarius, please. And again, Sag, if you like this new format, let me know. If this resonated, let me know. The comment section is open. If you hear the tapping, it's because I run my fingers over the decks until they choose which deck. Just so you don't think I'm doing something quite odd. Which deck for Sagittarius? Please show me. Ooh, postcards. Yep. I like these because I don't have to read a book. All I have to do is read the card. But I hate shuffling this deck. This thing has the sharpest edges. Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, postcards from Spirit. Let's see what comes up for you. Let's get, if I could shuffle it. Let's get an oracle card for Sagittarius, please. Message for Sagittarius, please. And again, like, why do people make oracle? I guess because there's writing and detailed artwork, but oracle cards are huge. If you have smaller hands than me, how do you do this? I'm a 6'1" lady, so these are not dainty little hands, by the way. Anyway, let's get into it. Oracle message for Sagittarius, please show me. Yeah, thank you. Let's see what we get. Is that right? No, it didn't. No. If so, it'll come back out. Oracle message for Sagittarius. Show me. Oh, Dios mío. There it goes. And that might have been the same card. I think it was green on the back. All right, here we go. Dearest you, going the extra mile to achieve your dreams and putting in some overtime will reap big rewards. Now is the time for you to act, to stir up some energy and put those plans into action. There are many windows of opportunity that open, but close quickly when you don't take the risk and go for it. Today, be confident that your hard work will pay off and you'll feel that satisfaction and fulfillment of reaching your desired outcome. It might turn out even better than you expected. Isn't that amazing? Remember, however, much work Oh, no. That was wrong. Remember, however much work you're willing to put in, we will match it tenfold on our end. Everyone over here is rooting for you to win the game of life. So just do it. Loving you so much. Now, again, this is called Postcards from Spirit. So it's like a direct message from the other side. I'll hold this up so you can pause it if you want to read it, because it's kind of easier with this deck than other decks to show that. So if you want to read that again, there you go. So what I'm feeling is, I don't know. I think this would be speaking to the person who's withheld. I think this is speaking to the person who's not in tune 100% or mostly in that hermit energy. One of you or both, one of you is a little more aware than the other, it feels like. So for the person who's less aware, less conscious, less awakened, whatever, they probably need to take this risk, because it talks about, going for it, right, in this card. The other person, I think, is a little impatient. So that energy might need to be redirected towards another goal or another area of your life. If you really wanted to start a business with this person, if you really wanted to get a relationship off the ground, if you really wanted to continue down the path and solidify your friendship, whatever it is, if someone is not available for that right now, but you're all about it, redirect your energy is what that feels like, okay? The other person, they need to step up, or they need to be a little bit more willing to do this spiritual work that the hermit is talking about, get out of this cycle or this continual like looking in a reflective pool, and just like I feel someone is stuck in a headspace of not being able to understand, and like the time for that is kind of waning. The time for that is kind of like dying out. That's kind of what that feels like, okay? Sagittarius, that is your reading for mid-April. If you liked it, like button is down below, hit that for me. If you want to let me know how this resonated, if you want to let me know how you like the new format, if you're into it, if you're not into it, I'm totally open to criticism, but I'm ultimately going to make my own decisions anyway. But if you want to give any feedback, that would be also welcome down in the comments. Feel free to share. Feel free to subscribe if you have not subscribed. That would be amazing, amazing, amazing. Sagittarius, I will be back very soon doing your May readings. We're going to be doing the old format with that. So, if you're familiar with that, you kind of know what that means. Anyway, I'll be back doing that very shortly. So please, if you are subscribed, or please, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and consider doing so that you're aware of when I do the uploads, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care.